That movie sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
Welcome to the restricted section. I don't want my life to be like Spider-Man 3. I hate that movie. I'm your host, Christina Kahn. What the hell is a Hufflepuff? And
Hufflepuffs are particularly good finders.
I'm very excited to be joined today by my friend Mary Clay. He's a lion who can talk. Trying to work as many quotes into the first 30 seconds as possible.
He's a lion who can talk.
See, I don't have the delivery down, so I'm going to need you for these. Okay, and I am also joined by my good friend Leela, one of the kindest, bravest, gentlest, sexiest men I have ever met.
It's me.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I usually say hello to the listeners. I got so distracted by my joke, by many jokes that I stole from this play. Today we're talking about a Harry Potter musical.
Woo! Yay.
Mary Clay, please tell us everything.
Yes.
When did you see that? Because Leela and I watched this for the first time together yesterday.
Last night, yes.
I want you to imagine like your most annoying high school theater kid. And that's the stage I was in when I was first experiencing a Harry Potter musical. I believe I watched it for the first time on YouTube in the year of our Lord 2009. So pretty soon after they published it onto YouTube, and I have been an avid Team Star Kid fan ever since. They have since made many other wonderful comedy musicals. In particular, I would really recommend The Guy Who Doesn't Like Musicals. I love that one, and it's, I think, a bit on the shorter side compared to some of the other shows that they've done. But, I watched this when I was in 9th grade.
On YouTube.
Were
there ads on YouTube back then?
No ads. And if you watch it now, I think some people have strung it together into one cohesive video, but that was back when like you couldn't have videos be more than 7 minutes or so long. So that's why it's split up into all these different parts. There's this disclaimer at the beginning of the first recording that's like, we are in no way stealing the works of J.K. Rowling, because they originally put it up as a Harry Potter musical and had to take it down again and rename it and edit out some parts because they were worried that they were going to be sued by Warner Brothers or something. So
what I was reading was saying that they also were editing to make the content more appropriate for a general audience.
Too. Yes. So all that being said, though, before I want to give us a general disclaimer before we continue that this was a show written and made and acted by college students in the year 2000. It was either 2007 or 8 when they did it.
Very important context.
Yes.
So the musical was performed in April of 2009 when I was graduating from high school.
There are definitely some jokes and interpretations of characters, not just in this musical, but in the other Harry Potter musicals too, that aren't as great these days. However, I think Star Kid as a production, as a team, generally these days do a pretty good job of recognizing where they've maybe made some not great jokes in the past and moving on to be better creators in the future. So that's just a general thing.
Leela was saying that this play reminded her kind of Monty Python. Was it you or was that Haley?
I thought it was you, but I'll take it.
Oh, no, I didn't say it. Okay. Well, obviously Haley said it. But whenever that was said, passive voice, we don't know who did it. I was like, yeah, but maybe like mixed with Family Guy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like time period energy.
Oh yeah, and also just like so many pop culture references that are like of 2008 of like
I loved it.
Zac Efron. This is when like High School Musical. I think there was just the one High School Musical out at the time.
There's a
And
Zac Efron poster in this play in this musical that is
a
like
Horcrux.
it's like an artifact of the narrative. Like it's a
It's an important
like-
piece of the
it's
plot.
an important piece of the plot.
There's nothing else
Yeah.
on the walls.
There's like
there aren't any walls.
yeah.
They made
Yeah.
walls just for
Yeah,
the
there's
poster.
no like that's what man, so let me wrap up my spiel and then y'all can get to your thoughts, but I just love the silliness of this. I love the joy that it brought me, maybe because I experienced this when I was, 14 years old. I can have like a different appreciation of it that when I watch it these days, I'm still able to have that same appreciation.
Mhm.
But I always just kept saying that when I was starting, that's what I'm talking about. My biggest like upset was that there's not going to be some low budget, like terribly filmed musical version of Lord of the Rings written by college
Yeah.
students that I can watch after I read the books, because technically, actually, they did do a Hobbit or Lord of the Rings musical before they did this one in college, but they didn't film any of it, very sadly. So that was my
Wow,
biggest
always
regret,
film
is that
everything.
I couldn't, find that, like, there is something about the joy that this show brings me that like nothing else recreates it at this point. So it's all downhill from here. All right.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Mary Clay.
Thank you for my
Thank you so much
time.
for your perspective.
I'll see
So
you
how many
guys
times
next
have you watched this?
I don't know how many times, like, start to finish, but because it's broken up into bits, I definitely remember
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot in high school just like going and like watching, like, okay, well, I want to watch this scene, or I just want to watch this part, or I just want to see this joke, and being able to easily find it. So definitely like have the show not memorized, but like I have a pretty good recollection of like all the plot points and the songs and the different characters and lines and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
So Leela, what were your initial thoughts after we watched it yesterday?
Wow. It was a lot. Yeah, it was
It was
a lot.
I texted Brooke those exact words today. I was like, you need to come watch this with me. It was a lot. All capitals LOT.
I was definitely like pleasantly surprised and shocked, and I feel like I'm not typically surprised by a lot of media anymore, so
I'm so relieved to hear that, because I was like, oh boy, they're going to sit down and watch 3.5 hours of these low quality YouTube
It wasn't
videos.
that long. It was for sure under 3 hours.
And
it flew by.
they're
It
not
really
going to
did.
It
find
did.
this funny at all. So I'm relieved to hear that.
We really enjoyed it. I mean, I think a lot of it we were all like sort of just like sitting in shock.
Shock. Shock is my brain thought the word shock, and then you said shock, and I'm like,
It's
that's
true.
exactly how I
Shock.
feel. Like, it was shocking.
Shock and awe. And then like, a lot of just like screaming and laughing. And then sometimes some groaning.
Yeah, I think the shocking thing for me. Okay, so you know how in both Monty Python and Family Guy, they'll do a joke. It's hilarious. They keep doing the joke. It's not that funny anymore. They keep doing the joke. Now that's the joke, that they're still doing the joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like that's exactly what I felt like the Quirrell Voldemort like thing was. I was like,
What?
wow, this
No.
is horrifying. It was a joke that kept going, dude. I was like,
no,
I can't
but
believe
I
they
love the
continue to
joke. Are
commit
you
to
kidding me?
this.
Quirrell Mort.
I could not believe how deeply they devoted to that concept. Like that was the most shocking
Is that
part for me.
not just the funny, like, that just makes me laugh so much. Just
Describe it for us.
the idea of
Describe
they just
it.
put 2 actors under a robe and had them stand back to back, and it worked.
I was trying to explain that to my husband today, and I was like making him do it with me, and he got annoyed with me in like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
it is. I could not disagree more, Tina. Like, I really felt that the Quarrel of Voldemort scenes completely made the show for me.
Oh,
I'm
thank
not
you.
saying I didn't love it. But I was like shocked that they featured it. And then I was like shocked that they kept going with it. I was like, are you joking me? You guys are still in this costume together.
For me, the bit that I felt like that just kept getting hammered over and over again was the Hermione Jenny gaslit mock slap thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this play hated women,
It
unfortunately.
doesn't treat women well. Yes.
In
They're definitely
particular-
more
Unfortunately,
joke.
that is one thing that it has in common with the original
Yeah.
text. It's like somehow worse.
It is. Well,
There's
they're
physical
they
violence.
physically are slapping and like I think it's supposed to be like Three Stooges-y, but the rest of the tone of the play is not like that. It's not slapsticky. So like I don't really know why they went with that bit so much.
I don't know. I guess just be random.
Oh,
and
so
weird.
random.
Oh, remember?
It's 2009.
So random.
What else, quote unquote, shocked you about this adaptation?
Okay, like just everyone's commitment to everything. The scenes where Draco would be like rolling around on the ground. That's played by Lauren Lopez.
She is our queen.
Just for like, it would be hurting my body to be rolling around that long.
Would you guys like to know some like behind the scenes facts throughout
Lay it
this?
all on me.
So everyone was always just like, why did she make that choice? Like, what's going on? And she said that like one day in rehearsal, she just like started doing that because she thought it was like Draco is always trying to like play things off as he's like, you know, maybe leaning casually against something and being really cool, but then he like, I don't know, falls or something. And then I think it just became a thing in and of itself. So I think that was more like a joke that probably during rehearsals they just thought was funny, so they kept it in. But it becomes such a, I would say, Lauren Lopez rolling around on the floor is one of the more like iconic parts of this whole show that like all these years later everyone remembers.
I definitely did not recognize any imagery from this musical as I watched it, except for Lauren Lopez as Draco Malfoy rolling around on the floor.
You might have seen some GIFs or
I was
something.
like, I've
yeah.
seen this. Yeah, I've for sure seen this.
I hadn't, and it was giving me like I kind of understood like where she started with it because it's just like that stupid scene where Draco's in a fucking tree when Harry like
Yes.
just waiting for Harry to approach and to be like, "Well, hello there." Like that's not what he says, but
Waiting in a tree to bully her.
literally. So I was like, "Oh, hello," and like it's just like you're trying so hard to look aloof, and it's very funny.
Exactly.
Yeah, I loved that a lot. We were talking when we were watching, so me, Haley, and Leila watched this together. Mary Clay was invited. She politely
I
declined.
know. I'm so
It's fine. I just wanted everyone to know that I wasn't excluding you.
yeah, I'm just so mad that like I've been so busy this month because I really wanted to be there to watch y'all's like first reactions and stuff.
Well, we simply must watch it again. Brooke and Grace
It's not
and
the
whoever else I forgot to mention.
Everyone's
everyone I know.
invited. We're
Everyone
going
I
to
know.
Christina's
They
house.
need
It's
to
at
come see.
beep 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 street.
That was the cutest little beep sound effect I ever did find.
Speaking of beeps, how did we feel? I gotta say, like, I really love like a beeped, like what's it called? Like a
Censored.
like a censored, like a cuss word that just like is like a really loud beep that comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like for example, when I say God mother the Tina put some
Okay, now
beeps in
Christina,
there.
add in all those beeps. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
But with that, like that was funny, but it really got me thinking of like this was a very wholesome. Not it wasn't a wholesome. Okay, I wouldn't say it's a wholesome show, but it was very family friendly. Would you say? Like it was very.
I wouldn't say it's family
There was some
friendly.
like floor dry humping.
I would say it's PG-14.
I think PG, because like what really? They bleep out all the swearing. There's no nudity.
I guess they do.
You know,
I would probably not want my kid to watch it because of how it treats women.
True. They should give it another rating for that. But I don't think
that's a different
but the rating system doesn't care about women.
Another fun fact, if the line you're referring to in particular is when Voldemort is like on his blog or whatever at the beginning of Act 2, and he goes, "I'm gonna find Harry Potter," and I believe the line is, "I'm gonna find Harry Potter and I'm gonna piss in his mouth." But they said that they bleeped it out because they thought the bleeps made it funnier. So I totally agree with that.
It's up for interpretation now.
I do think bleeps make things funnier. They can make things funnier. It has to be a well-timed words. You just like bleep out random ones.
Oh, like Mary Clay's podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just lazy with that, and I'm just like, I'm gonna let damn slide because I don't feel like dragging the censor over here.
What I was going to say earlier was we were all saying how much the actor who played Dumbledore, that is Andrew as Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Our friend Andrew, the slides, the t-shirts, even what was the t-shirt of when he put on like,
It's a High School Musical.
Zephron. It's a High School Musical.
Yeah,
it's like
High School
it's
Musical
definitely
fan
like a
t-shirt.
high school, like if you had walked into Limited 2 that year and like gotten
A
some
girl's
High School
double
Musical
XL.
pajamas, like I'm pretty sure it's like the top of that set.
And then like it could be like you could get like a hot K-pop t-shirt at a little girl's store, like store for sure. Like this is just Andrew. This is just Andrew.
And he is always seen in his flip-flops.
Always.
For sure.
And it was just funny thinking because like he also sort of looks like him a little. I mean, and
Yeah.
Just like a cute doofy white man.
yeah, in the way that
Yeah.
like it's 2009 and you can't really like see anyone's face that clearly. But
Ooh.
ooh.
So much hair going on in this.
There was one point where there's like a sword prop that is used,
Oh yeah, the foam one.
and it was so pixelated that I thought it was serrated for a second.
It could have been like a Minecraft sword.
Yeah,
really
I was
see
like,
that
is it?
well.
I looked closer. It wasn't.
No, I'm pretty sure it was just
Oh.
like a foam sword from the dollar
Yeah.
store. So I don't know how y'all feel about Darren Criss, but this is where my fandom for him started. So I've been a Darren Criss stan since the beginning. And then like as we were recording this, I didn't watch the Tony Awards. That was this past Sunday. I didn't watch them because I don't have live television, but apparently he like he wasn't hosting the actual Tonys, but there's like an hour before the broadcast starts on TV where they do the like lighting design awards and like all these other awards that they deem not important enough to air on television.
Oh.
And apparently Darren Criss like co-hosted that part of the Tony Awards. So just like the fact that he's gone from being like Harry Potter in this college production of this musical, and he has like an afro, and his hair is not dissimilar to Leela's right now, even though your hair, Leela, is much better than Darren Chris's as Harry
Neither
Potter.
Leela
But,
nor
like,
Thank you.
Darren Chris's Harry Potter had an afro, to be clear.
okay, not an afro, but you know what I mean. But like,
It's Hobbit hair.
yes, yeah. So like, it's just like so sweet for me
Leela
to watch
just shook
this
her hair out.
and be like, oh, our boy Darren. So I don't know. Were you guys at all surprised to see him in this, or do you just have no impressions of him whatsoever and you don't care and we can move on?
I loved him in Glee. I was definitely like a huge Gleek. Embarrassingly, I hate saying that, but I was.
Word hit me really
I
hard
know,
in the
okay.
timeline, the way back timeline.
No, I mean, I was too. Look, there's no shame in it, okay? We were all Gleeks.
Yeah.
I watched Glee for a while there.
Dude, I still watched
then
it in
I
college. Like I wouldn't miss an episode.
I did dip out, I think, after Finn died.
Yeah.
It was still pretty new coming out when we were just in college.
right, I know. So
Don't
if you
act
could
like
just
we're sold.
okay. Yeah, I really loved him in that, and I really always thought he was super cute, and I like his little singing voice. and I like him. I think he's just such a he's hunky, and that's like the type
hunky.
Let's talk about college acoustic guitar douchebags for a second.
Yes.
Yeah, the guitar thing is not something that I love.
I was gonna say
in another person.
So it's like Akio guitar versus Akio firebolt. How do we feel about that? Because then in the opening song, he's like gonna ride my firebolt. Oh, so which one is it? Plot hole.
Why not both? I think that he portrayed like a true spirit of Harry better than Danielle Radcliffe.
I agree,
He
100%.
He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't really care.
Actually, no, hang on. I feel like we need to rewind. I feel like Daniel Radcliffe is a great actor, and I think he would have played a great true spirit of Harry Potter had they written it that way.
That's true.
You know,
maybe.
but they just
I also
didn't.
think he became a much better actor by the end.
That's
of it.
true. He did start as a child.
Yeah, but like this is
What are you
like this
talking about? That he was a 12-year-old boy.
So if Daniel Radcliffe's Harry is like kind of stiff on one end of the spectrum, and then on the other end of the spectrum we have Madeline Bundy's like nonsense child Harry from Puffs, and then in the middle you have Darren Criss, which I think is like the realistic depiction of Harry Potter. Like he just, and I also really connected with this version of Ron Weasley as well.
Really great. Played by Joey Richter.
Yeah, he total Joey, by the way. That guy is a Joey if I ever seen one. And I think that his depiction of Ron was so much more three-dimensional than the books or the movies. But for sure the movies, but also the books.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I found him. I feel like I knew that guy.
I feel like I knew that guy. I went to college with him.
Now, how did you guys feel about? So, not to confuse everything,
I should have let you just run this episode. I should have let you do the introduction and everything.
There are. I don't mean to like jump in. I just want to hear all your thoughts. So I'm trying to like make sure we like hit all our bases. There are two other Joe actors in this show. So there's Joey Richter, who played Ron. There's Joe Walker, who played Voldemort. And then there's Joe Moses, who played Snape. How did you guys feel about Snape?
It's too many Joes.
Yeah.
I liked Snape. He was fine.
Snape was like really whatever, right? I don't think he like did much.
I mean, I think that everybody else's performance was so extreme that like even doing such an
You don't think his performance as Snape was extreme?
I guess it just wasn't surprising to me. You know, it wasn't different. Like,
Well,
it was
back
good.
then it was. Wow, I'm so
I guess.
Okay, continue your.
It just made like no impression on me. I'm trying to remember anything he does, and I actually can't remember anything he does.
Harry Potter detention.
Well,
Mm,
okay,
any-
good. That was a good. Okay,
there we
that jogs a memory.
Yeah.
He always says, "What the devil is going on here?"
Yeah.
Huh, yeah.
Okay.
whatever.
Okay. Well, then
Kind
we'll
of
move along.
lackluster.
Breaking my heart.
I know we shouldn't just like compare, but we're going to like contrast and compare Puffs with this because they were made so far apart and everything. But I mean, if we're talking about Snape portrayals, I definitely far preferred the Snape portrayal in Puffs. He was more
You
ridiculous.
definitely said.
What did I
I
say?
think you said fart by accident.
When did I say fart?
I heard Puff.
At the beginning of your sentence.
I mean, if we're talking about Snape portrayals, I definitely fart.
It's fine. I'll hear it on the list.
Because I got something on my mind.
Okay. Well, interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't care about him, I guess.
All right. Now, how did you feel about this Voldemort?
Yeah. He made me perhaps sexually attracted to Voldemort.
Okay. Good. Yay!
And not for the first time, may I add, to bring it back to Puffs.
Yes.
I love them both. Those ones I don't really want to compare because I think they're both valid and entertaining in their own ways.
Different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now imagine 14-year-old Mary Clay's surprise when Voldemort comes out of the cauldron and he's shirtless and
I know.
he
No,
has
that's
abs.
great.
He's almost pantless. Do you see how low those suckers were
Yeah,
riding?
it was extremely hot. It was the era of low cut.
Yeah. They call that, boys call that like dick root. Like when you can see like the top of the V, where the V starts. I was like, is Voldy showing dick root right now?
Yeah.
Like,
I've never heard that before in my life.
Yeah,
I love
he
that
is.
with everything I have. Yeah, he was hot and he was running around without a shirt. And also hot about that person was his commitment to the absolutely ludicrous role he was playing. Like, that was very
Yes.
cool that he committed so hard.
Another fun fact. So Joe Walker shared later on, so a lot of the actors in this show, they were seniors. So this was nearing the end of college.
At
And-
the University of Michigan.
Yes, the University of Michigan. And Joe Walker said he was like, I mean, I like wasn't a like serious actor. I wasn't really a musical guy. And then I was just put in this like silly play with my friends. And I legitimately thought that was going to be the last time I ever acted in anything. So he just went out there and gave it his all and just like tried to be like his peak silliness. And I think it shows.
you are shitting
Yeah.
me. I would say that when I took away from that was like that he was by and far the best actor there. Like I thought that his monologues were like, that's like crazy. His monologues are so engaging and
Yeah.
the right amount of dramatic to like where like sometimes you don't even giggle. Sometimes you're just like, oh my God.
Wait,
And-
that was actually serious.
yeah. And then his stupid fucking thing with Coral is very good. I liked it.
Isn't it great?
It's shocking. If you were to describe that to me as a concept, I'd be like, no, dude, you're so stupid. What the fuck? But like watching it, I was like, you know what? I buy it.
This
I
is
really buy
hilarious,
it.
yeah.
Brian Rosenthal, who played Coral, was like so deeply, deeply earnest, you know, just like that
Yes.
face. So that was very compelling.
Yeah.
You just wanted everything for him.
I loved it. I like I do think, I mean, like I wish just in general, not like necessarily things with them too, but like just anything I could have been like a little bit hint of gay, like just a tiny spot, like a hint. I understand it was 2009 and like I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry probably just fucking came out.
This is true, yeah.
Like Draco is like into Hermione. So like that whole thing, I get where they're coming from because obviously it's like, oh, if all he can do is obsessively like torture and make fun of her, he must be obsessed with her.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I read that is how this whole thing was conceptualized.
What?
Because
Really?
They were talking. Yeah, it started with the song Granger Danger.
Granger Danger.
Because they were talking about why Malfoy bullies her so badly.
It makes sense. You know, like the boys pick on you because they like you so much. Like,
yeah.
Which is absolute horseshit, just in case anyone
Yes,
didn't
this
know
is true.
that. And like,
Yes.
don't even say that phrase in front of children. Like there's a Rugrats episode about it. Do you remember?
Yes.
That girl's mean to Chucky at the playground
And
because
he's
she
so
likes him.
confused about
That's-
it, yeah.
And that show came out when I came out of my mother's womb. So that's how early
I was
children
like,
are
when-
indoctrinated. No, I think that show actually launched like 3 days before I was born or something. So anyway, do not tell your children that. What?
should they have tried to do a Drarry thing? Like, obviously, Harry could not be interested. Harry doesn't care about anything. That's like his thing. But like, would that be, or no? It just like never could have. It never could have been.
Remember, the book Deathly Hallows had like just come out the previous year. So I genuinely think this was them trying to do a as fast as possible adaptation of the books into a musical, but also a comedy and also a little low budget and also a little raunchier. So
Wait, that you just described this podcast.
there we
Hey.
go. Perfect.
Da-da-da-da.
Yay. So I think they were genuinely trying to follow at least like the guidelines and the bones of the books. The following subsequent musicals, I wouldn't say that they are super gay, but they're gayer, if that makes you feel
Nice.
better.
Okay, sure, yeah.
You can always be gayer.
Exactly. I like it.
I'll just tell you this. In a Harry Potter sequel, it actually flashes back to their first year at Hogwarts. And the Sorting Hat, for whatever reason... Oh, no, the Sorting Hat is there. Strike that out. Delete that. They get sorted by the Sorting Hat, and then they get sorted by the Scarf of Sexual Preference. So it's just this scarf puppet that sorts them, and Harry gets... No. Yeah, Harry gets sorted as a metrosexual.
Ooh, remember metrosexuals?
Yes.
Remember when we used to call men something different when they took care of themselves?
Yeah, it's
And then Ron gets sorted as bi-curious.
More like bi-furious.
And Hermione gets sorted as waiting till marriage.
Oh, see?
God damn it.
It hates Hermione. It hates Hermione.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay,
tell you my favorite
let's
part
not,
of the whole play.
let's not bash on how do you guys feel about Ginny and Hermione in this adaptation?
Wait, let me tell you my favorite moment of the whole
JK,
play.
JK.
It's a Hermione moment. When Ron and Hermione are making out and it's very uncomfortable and they're like on the ground and he stands up and he slaps her in the face. Okay. There's a lot of violence against women in this, but this one slap, she seems extremely into it. And that's my favorite moment of the whole play.
And that also leads to a line that I say in Triumph all the time, which is, "Let's go kill Voldemort!"
He was like,
yes! Yes!
It was
just like that energy of, "Let's go kill Voldemort!" Of like, all right, we've done this thing. Like, we're ramped up. We're energized. Yeah, let's go do it.
When guys say, let's go, that's like, Ron is like, emulates that saying. Like, the Ron in
is
this
the
play.
sound of that call.
Yeah.
That's like the mask version of a woo girl.
Yeah.
Let's go, boy.
Yes. I love that. Canon.
So I found Hermione and Ginny to both be extremely obnoxious in this because they were written that way.
Oh, yeah.
Ginny's actor,
Jamie Lynn Beatty.
Jamie Lynn Beatty.
Or Beatty.
Probably Beatty.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Jamie Lynn. She had an extremely good voice, and they gave her a couple really big singing moments. And I think that is the only thing that made me respect this character, that they wrote to be like pretty obnoxious and stupid.
Like, worse than obnoxious, just like hard to watch, like secondhand embarrassment. Like,
Yeah.
They definitely just make her, like Ron's annoying little sister.
she's
He
pathetic.
screams those words at her in every scene. He's like screaming at her,
And
which Ron would never do Ginny like that.
No, and she just cries and runs away. And that's the joke.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
So that was distracting a little.
I'm remembering how in Puffs they portrayed Ginny as kind of like squealing and running away. And I just wonder if it's because she's such an underdeveloped character.
It is.
No, I think it's just because I feel like that's everyone's impressions just from like book 2 and 3 of like her just constantly being embarrassed to be around Harry, but having a huge crush on him.
Yeah, I found Hermione's character in this to be just super grating and annoying, and everything they did to her or about her was like frustrating, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she was just like, why is she friends with them? You know, at this point, they're not.
She was trying to get plot done, okay? And
She
they're
was-
holding her back.
Yeah.
She was like, they literally can't even remember to bring their wands places without her.
Yes.
So, you know what every boy needs? A mommy.
Yeah.
You know? Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they need a mom, a secretary, and a therapist.
Mhm.
Every child needs a mother and a father. That is why this podcast are no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Lord almighty.
Oh yeah.
That's why every child needs to have one motorcycle riding, leather wearing godfather, and that's all you really need.
Remember, actually, you know what? This is a great, I don't know, maybe it's not a great comeback, but like, if you ever hear someone say, a child needs a mother and a father, just remind them Harry Potter had neither.
That's why he sucks.
Okay, how did you guys feel about the songs?
I thought they were. Oh, you go first.
No, you go first because I just didn't care about them much one way or the other, and I was gonna deflect the question to you.
Okay. I got into them more as it went. I thought the first like "Gonna Go to Hogwarts" what's is that the first song?
Gotta get back to
Gotta
Hogwarts.
get back to Hogwarts was okay, and then I thought anything that Quirrell and Voldemort did was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought Jenny had a nice voice, but like her character was written so badly, and everyone was so mean to her, and it's like, why do you even like him? He's mean to you. So that was distracting. But like her voice was nice. And then the tap number at the end again with Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite number in the show.
Yeah, that was great. That was great to behold.
And then little Darren Criss has some douchey guitar boy, as Haley said, what'd she say? Top of the aughts type sounding things.
Why is she like this?
I literally had to
Top of the odds.
I stopped. I was like, and then I was like, this has saying something about like the decade that this came out in, and I was like, how do you even Google that? And I was like, top of the aughts, OTTS, and it knew what I meant though, and I was like, okay, so yeah, it all had very I'm trying to think. I made a couple of good references.
I dated this kid. Like, I dated Darren Chris's Harry Potter in high school.
So, like, Jason would try really hard in college not to be this guy because he played acoustic guitar as his major and everybody thought he was this guy. But he still would play his guitar all the time, like, when people were over and still does. You know what I mean? So, it's similar. But he's not going to, like, stop everything and then, like, play a shitty song he just wrote for you.
I had a friend who used to stop parties in college so that he could rap freestyle.
Nope. Like a cappella with no beat.
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
that's a nightmare.
No, it was.
One time this guy I went on a date with this guy in college, and he thought he was like the bee's knees, and I just thought he was cute. And he brought his guitar, and it wasn't Jason. And he proceeded to like, he was just like Novo white guy, and he was just like, check this out, me and my brother are in a band, like, and he said it like that I was gonna like wet my pants, you know. And I was like, I'm a music major. And then he was like, check it out, and he like played a beat that he found on YouTube, and then he played his guitar, and then he rapped to me. Tina, he rapped.
Whoa.
I wasn't ready. And then
Whoa.
At the end, the worst part, he was like, so, what did you think? Like, he said it in a way that, like, you know, like lots of girls probably are like, oh my God, like, are you gonna go on American Idol? You're so talented. And I was just like, I thought it was okay. It's kind of like a good 4-chord song structure.
This is literally the scene of Harry asking Cho Chang to the ball.
Except
Dude,
he rhymes every word with Jenny, and then
Jenny, and then it's a song for Cho Chang.
Yeah, of course.
Our
Stupid.
mutual friend Courtney one time in college slept with this guy, and then he pulled a flute, pulled out a flute, and started fluting at her.
Tina, was
not
it
a
you?
euphemism. No, that guy was not me. Yeah, maybe just wait for someone to ask you to pull out your instrument. And that can be literal or a euphemism.
Yeah,
It
in
applies
every
both
sense of
ways.
the word.
Read the room. Read the room, people.
And listen, there will be people who just want to fangirl out over somebody playing an instrument. It'll happen. Literally, go visit your parents. You know what?
Or when we were at Sarah and Maggie's and Jason was playing the guitar, that was nice.
Yeah.
That was a good read the room.
If you have like, if it's like musician vibes, but don't be like, well, it seems I am the only talent here. Perhaps. I shall.
My husband's a DJ.
Yeah. I still think that's like blows my mind every time I think about Sean, but less so now. But I think it used to blow my mind a lot.
He's a man of many layers.
Yeah. Like onions.
Like onion. What else is there to talk about?
Pacing? I don't know.
Pacing. I felt like it was coming at me at a very fast pace the entire time.
Yeah.
I thought it was just right.
No, yeah, in a good way. In a good way. We're like off on this adventure. Yeah, it was long, but like it definitely didn't feel like I was ever like, oh my god, can we
Yeah.
please wrap this up? Like it's fun every moment of it.
Mm-hmm.
They kept it somewhat light, it didn't have a lot of heavy dips, like dramatic dips. I think sometimes like the gravitas that like the actor, I'm so obsessed with him. Oh my god. The actor who plays Voldemort, the Joe that plays Voldemort,
Yes.
brings to the scenes would like sometimes even just make it a little more serious and add more weight, but like then like a second later he's tap dancing. So like
Yes.
it's just
Yeah.
that type of show, and honestly I think it was like exactly what I needed right now. I just needed something that I could like look. It just reminded me of just like fucking around with my friends in theater in high school and and dancing and singing together and like just putting on a production and working hard on it together. It just I blasted Rent all the way home from Tina's house.
Yep, there you go.
I loved it.
Rent is the definition of high school theater energy.
And it's not, I mean, the
Yes.
older you get, the worse it gets too. Like, do you remember
Yeah.
how, hey, theater
Yeah.
kids, you remember how when you were like in high school and you were like listening to Rent nonstop and you were like, I'm going to play this, like, I'm going to be Mimi one day. And that's goals. Like, you play the song Out Tonight and you're like, yeah, I want to go out tonight. And then you listen to it and you're like, oh, she's addicted to drugs.
Like, I was memorizing all these lyrics
Yeah.
to Rent before I knew what a lot of it was.
For
Like,
sure.
I don't think I necessarily knew like what lesbians were, but you bet your ass I was belting Take Me or Leave Me. Just like having no notion that like it's weird that these two women are like yelling at each other about Take Me or Leave Me. And like I remember also with La Vie Boheme not knowing what the word masturbation meant.
How old were you? Young.
I won't reveal the age. I was middle school. Okay, I was
Okay.
middle school.
Third Eye Blind sings about doing hard drugs and fucking bitches, and I was singing those songs along with my parents when I was like 3 years old. I feel like when something's catchy, you don't really think about it. You're
yeah.
like, we're just on this ride together.
My friend Sally, who is I'm still friends with to this day, and I were in the Center for the Performing Arts high school where we live in Virginia, and we did this showcase where you can basically for your senior showcase pick whatever the fuck you want and just design it and just like have a theater kid just like explosion of whatever you want to do. And so like we did Rent, like what else were we gonna do? And we didn't do the whole musical, but we did Sally and I did Take Me or Leave Me. And I played not Maureen.
Shoot, what's her name?
Like Tracy Toms plays her. Anyway, it's just like so unlike it was very bad casting, and only I would have cast
It's
myself.
Joanne, right?
Joanne.
Isn't it
Joanne, that's it.
And I was so confident in that I could do a good Joanne that I auditioned for Rent and when I went to high school, when I went to college, and they were like, no, bitch, no. She's just like, like she's like your traditional in the 90s, what they thought of as like a businesswoman lesbian. And,
Yeah.
And,
A pantsuit lesbian.
a pantsuit lesbian. And Sally and I did like there's video footage somewhere on Facebook, I think, or YouTube of us doing it, and it's just we're both just so straight and and tiny, and like it's very, very, very embarrassing and cringy. I guess what I'm saying is it all comes down to good casting, and this production had it all. Who was like everybody's just like favorite performer, or like who is the one that like you remember the most?
Probably Voldemort.
Yeah, Voldemort, Joe Walker.
Oh my god,
I
and Lauren
feel.
Lopez as Draco. Oh my god. Just so ridiculous.
Scene stealers, like
Part is when she's having the meeting with Snape and Voldemort, and she goes, "If this homemade Doc Mock won't convince you," and it's a smiley face with the tongue, with the snake for her tongue, just like drawn on her arm.
Draco's almost giving like
So
like Maddie Bundy's portrayal of Harry, and this one almost a little bit, just like sometimes with the random earnestness and like childlikeness that kind of comes out.
Oh my god. You have to discover what it is, Draco, that you truly want. And then he goes, I want Hermione Granger and a rocket ship.
Oh, pig farts.
You must get me a rocket ship with enough fuel to get me to Mars.
I guess I should have said this at the top, but if you haven't watched it yet, and you go watch this, you have to put the subtitles on.
Yeah, the subtitles are helpful.
It's absolutely required. We watched it for like 3 seconds, and then I was like, no.
When I watched it in 2009, 2010, no subtitles. Those did not exist back then.
Well, we all had better hearing back then, so.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
And now I just have the show memorized, so I don't have to have them on.
There you go.
Okay, if you were going to play a character in this production, who would you be?
I would do Draco. 100%.
100% Draco, yeah.
Both of you?
Hey! Battle of the Dracos.
Oh my god.
I think I'd have fun being like a Ron character.
Yeah, or Ron, yeah.
Imagine a character like Ron in a Harry Potter musical, but they're femme. I think that would be extremely fun.
That would be fun. But when we were watching it, we also said you would be a really cute Cho Chang. Their version of Cho Chang.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How do you guys feel about
that?
that nice little touch that they introduce an Asian actress and you're led to believe that she is Cho Chang, and then instead it is this white girl with doing a really like thick valley accent.
If you know Emily, it's Emily with an accent. Looks exactly like my best friend Emily. Anyway, I can't tell if it's worse to name a Chinese Scottish character Cho Chang, or if it's worse that it's the white girl from the prairie. Anyone else? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought it was kind of making fun of J.K. Rowling, of like,
for sure,
like you name, and then I guess just also, I don't know, making fun of people's like natural stereotypes or something, and just that's lavender brown.
That was funny. They did trick me there. They didn't need. Yeah. I know what they were doing with layering on like the very, very. I don't even like want to sing it because I feel like I'm gonna sound racist, but like the.
No, I know.
The introduction,
plinky music.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like that everyone knows. It's like that intro that just like means something Asian's about to happen, and it literally could be anything Asian. And I think like to their point, like they go and then they sing like konnichiwa in the song.
They say domo arigato.
Oh, that's what they say. Domo arigato.
Which is Japanese, I believe.
Yes.
I can't tell if it was like they were being very tongue in cheek of like this is such an over the top stereotype, or if it is bad. But like that's what like I mean by like I don't think if they had written this show today that they would write that.
They
joke.
would not include it.
It does the same thing that Family Guy does, where it's like, look at this shitty racist character we wrote. Look at them. They're so racist. But it's like you're still the one making
the joke.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, maybe I'm sure their intention was to be tongue in cheek, but
I think they could have just done the old like, oh, you thought it was her, it was me, and like let that be the joke.
Just we did
like all the sound effects.
We don't need the plinky planky intro, and I even feel racist for saying plinky planky.
It's okay.
Thank you.
No,
sorry.
It's like a glockenspiel or something,
I'm just
right?
Using onomatopoeia. I'm sorry.
A xylophone.
I would like to talk about one of my favorite joke setups ever, and I think it was playing off of like a weird line from the book and movie where they go to the graveyard and Harry is yelling at Cedric and going, God, you're just this guy who's always there when you don't need a guy around. You're just always there and no one wants you. You're just always there. You're just such a spare guy. You're such a spare dude. God, Cedric, you're such a spare. And then from off camera, you hear, kill the spare. And then he goes like, he says something like, alas, I am dead. And dies.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was funny. I'm trying to think about what my favorite joke or what surprised me the most was. I mean, the Quirrell Voldemort thing in general.
Remember when they get in bed?
Yes. I do remember.
And then they get up from bed. That's an example of a scene where I was like, how is this still happening?
So I know exactly what the props are that they used for that bed because we had them in, I think they're just like a staple of a lot of theaters, especially like community theater in high school. We just called them black boxes.
Yeah.
And they're literally just these wooden like pieces of plywood put together. And it's almost a cube, but one side has been left off. And you just like use them for like random like set placements and set, to like when you're usually rehearsing. And then obviously things will come in and later on down the road. And like, okay, it's a chair today. It's a bed. It's a table. And so the fact that I know that he was lying down, face down, on these really hard wood boxes just makes it even funnier. And then he goes, you gotta roll over. I can't sleep on my tummy.
I definitely feel like this will benefit from a rewatch. Like, I felt like it was so much all at once.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
ever since I watched Puffs the first time, I've watched it like several more times. And I feel like I understand it a little bit better every time.
Yeah, I think I already, when I got home straight away, I made Jason watch like the best of Quirrell and Voldemort. Because he was like, what do you mean Quirrell and Voldemort? And I was like, I can't. You have to.
You have to see it.
I
for
didn't do the
yourself.
reenaction like you did, Tina. The reenactment.
Sean and I are almost the exact same height, Leela. It would never work for you.
Can you
and
imagine?
Jason.
It's really dumb, but it's effective on me. And it's Snape having a hook hand.
Oh, yeah?
After he cut off his hand in the graveyard. And no one caring. And he just has a hook for the rest of Act 2. And it's just so dumb.
I feel like this play was as if someone had Harry Potter books 4 through 7 all in like loose leaf like paper and binders, and they like all spilled and fell everywhere, and you grabbed up like 20
You
of
try
them.
to piece them together,
And you're just like fuck, okay, and then you just read them in whatever order you pick them up, and that's the plot of this musical, because it had so many things, but like none of it was right at all.
Yeah, it's like not all. It's a lot of combining characters and adding like, okay, well this plot happens to this character, but this character doesn't exist, so we're gonna give this plot to Cho Chang instead. And yeah. Can you imagine Cho, like J.K. Rowling's Cho, being a Triwizard Tournament champion?
I mean, I guess like in her defense, like she's not that different of a character than Fleur. They're both vanilla girly girls.
I don't know. I think Fleur is a little feistier, and Cho is just kind of like a wet rag.
Yeah.
I would have liked if the books had made Cho the champion and then given her a whole ass character.
Yeah.
And let her chemistry with Harry develop organically from being in competition, which is always kind of sexy to be in competition with other people.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles that she could have gone with it, but
Well, any last words or like extra shout outs, just like a moment in your mind from this, like what's
just
left?
like it's so simple, but it's effective at the very end. Like, I think it's the last scene, they're barricading the door against Voldemort, like after Harry has come back, and they prop a bench up against the door. And everyone's like, and you hear Voldemort banging, and they go, oh, it's okay. We barricaded the door. He can't get in. And then the Voldemort actor like pushes a curtain aside, walks around the door, and kicks the bench.
No, he says
Avada Kedavra. Yeah. But just this simple act of them being like, no, he can't get in. And he walks around the door.
And then he's like, what does he say? He's like, yeah, it turns out, like, when you just, like, keep trying to kill people, it doesn't make them like you. They're
You
just...
think that killing people makes them like you, but it doesn't. It just makes them dead.
It just makes them dead.
That whole last scene of Quirrell being like, so you came back? And then he goes, I came home. And then they do, like, the slow motion run towards each other. Oh, actually, I do want to mention the song "Not Alone" that they sing is like a very surprisingly like serious, poignant moment, and that actually became like a really wonderful song that Darren Criss like fine-tuned later on, and I think he like performed it for like some Trevor Project events and stuff, and so it kind of like turned into a little like anthem for certain people like outside of the fandom too. So I would say that like this is a very funny musical, but also the song "Not Alone" is very beautiful, I think, and like a wonderful sentiment. So
Nice. I'll link it in the show notes.
What did Haley say? She was like, was it the tap scene? When Haley was like, this is why they shouldn't allow theater kids to have rights or something like that.
Yes,
what
that's
scene?
exactly what she said.
I think when Voldemort starts tap dancing.
oh, when I was a boy, an orphan boy.
Haley is one of the funniest people I
know. Why isn't she here?
You guys are pretty funny, I guess, but Hermione's... I said Hermione because I was reading the... Haley. I was reading the Wikipedia page. She's not here because I usually only do 3 of us. I don't know. Because fuck Haley. I hate that girl.
I was like, Christina, if you don't have this episode with me on it, I will quit. Like, I will stop being friends with you.
Yeah, and you're the musical expert, Leila. So we're the... Yeah.
Thanks.
I should have bowed out and let Haley come into my place.
No, it's okay.
Like,
I just like...
Yeah, I agree with that. I wish Haley'd come on instead. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, perfect. That's a great place to end this episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Clay, thank you so much for talking about this until I watched it.
Oh my gosh. Of course. I'm so happy that you guys watched it. And also that you enjoyed it. Because again, you very much could have been like, this really isn't funny. Like these jokes are, 15 years old.
The
songs
jokes
aren't that
definitely are
great.
15 years old,
Yeah.
but it is funny.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a very good time, and I think, Leila, you did too.
Yes, I laughed. I didn't cry for once, and
Nice.
and I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, and I think if Haley were here, she would say that she liked it too. Let's move on to some plugs. Mary Clay, where can the people find you and your podcast?
You can find me on Twitter at MCWhatsUp, and you can listen to my podcast, That's What I'm Talking About, wherever you get podcasts. New episodes every Tuesday. And then I don't even know what to plug lately because I feel like I've been watching a lot of media. Oh, I am watching the most recent season and the last season of Peaky Blinders. That's a Peaky Blinders for you American folk out there. It's a wonderful show on Netflix. Definitely another subtitle watch. And they just finished premiering the last season on BBC or something. And so now the whole final season is on Netflix, and I'm really it's just such a top-notch quality show. It's very intense. Lots of trigger warnings for violence and whatnot, but it's really good. But the last season is really sad because Helen McCroy, the actress who played Narcissa Malfoy, died last year, and she also played a very prominent character in the show. So they had to kill her character off in the first couple minutes of the first episode, and it was just they were all crying, and you could tell that it had to have been the actors actually crying in these scenes because it was just so sad. So anyway, that being said, go watch Peaky Blinders. I highly recommend it.
All the trigger warnings. Leila, where can people find you on the internet?
Hello, listeners. I have been Leela. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok at Leals for Reals. And Tina, I can't remember if this has been plugged before on the podcast, but I would love to plug a podcast I've been listening to recently called Sounds Like a Cult.
I think we've plugged it by accident because we just keep bringing it up.
Okay.
No. You should plug it.
Should I? Okay.
For Leals for Reals.
Nice. I found this new podcast. It was kind of just suggested to me on Spotify, and I was like, oh, cults are like interesting to me. I'm into this, and I saw they were like short little cute episodes, and it's great. It's just two gals that are friends. One is a comedian, one is a writer, like a classic lol combo there. And they just basically talk about and explore different niche, sometimes not so niche, just like groups in the zeitgeist that exist that have culty tendencies, or people think of them kind of in a culty way, and they kind of explore like what kind of would make this a cult? Is it a cult? And then if so, should we label this group? Live your own life, watch your back, or get the fuck out. And
oh my God, there's one called The Cult of Theater
yes,
Kids.
I haven't listened to it yet because I'm scared.
Wait, oh my God, listen.
I feel like it's got to be Live Your Life, because like as annoying as they are.
Yeah.
It says, point of view, you work at Denny's. It's 12 a.m.
Yeah.
You want to go home, and from outside you hear it, your worst nightmare. 40 pairs of hungry footsteps and an a cappella intro to Grease's Summer Night.
Yeah. Fun.
Mhm.
Ba-da,
Da-da,
da-da,
So,
da-da,
maybe start with that episode.
I gotta get back to Hogwarts. Like, just to emphasize how much of an annoying theater kid I was, I downloaded and saved the audio of these songs, like from the live recording, so that I could listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do stuff like that. I would download music from YouTube all the time.
Like, I would go on runs to get back to Hogwarts. Like, that was my workout music.
Honestly, I've started doing the stair stepper at the gym, and I was doing some steps to Dolly Parton's 9 to 5.
There you
today, so
go.
I don't feel like
There
I
you
can
go.
It's
Yeah.
I have a playlist that's called 105 beats per minute because that's how fast I walk. So if anyone also walks at 105 beats per minute, I would love to share this playlist with you.
You have one for shorter leg friends?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how fast I walk.
It's
so
not that.
I've never clocked it.
Yeah, so that's what I plug, and there's lots of really good episodes, and it sounds like a cult.
A link is in the show notes. I'm your host, Christina. You know where to find me. And today I'm going to plug a book that we read last month for our Movie Night Crew Network book club. You can join for as little as $1 a month through our Patreon, just saying. Access to the book club through our Discord server. Our Pride Month read was All Out, the no longer secret stories of queer teens throughout the ages, and it's all historical fiction with like some light fantasy of like queer YA short stories from different periods in history, and it's very cool. Edited by Sandra Mitchell. Lots of really cute little stories in it. Leela, are you reading it too?
Yeah, I am. I'm reading it, and I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. Lots of like fun historical fiction things in there that I love. Lots of really cool stuff to check out.
I'm starting to like kind of grow. Like short story collections are starting to grow on me.
They're
a little
nice.
Bit. I haven't really read them, but they're cool because if you're not vibing with something, it changes no matter
Exactly.
what in a couple
This is
pages.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Well, great. I'm so glad I watched this. Truly, I am. I feel like I appreciate that this podcast is really helping me get a better understanding of the Harry Potter fandom and its history, because I was never really that big into the fandom before I started this podcast and was forced to be.
I agree. I feel like that's maybe the reason. Because I'm like, why didn't I watch this when I was in high school? Because I was a junior in
Yeah.
high school when this came
I
out.
was wondering the same thing.
I think just because, like, I liked the books and I liked the movies, but I really didn't engage with the fandom at all.
I didn't have internet access when I was in high school, is I think a really important part of my personality. I had really strict parental controls on my computer, and I couldn't access anything online.
Yeah, that'll do it. I just like, I think, I don't know. I was doing other things. I was.
Yeah.
I felt the same way during the My Immortal episode.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did I miss this?
You can be really into something, but that doesn't mean you're into the fandom that goes with it, because sometimes the fandom
Yes.
turns it into a whole nother thing, for better or worse, you know?
Like a cult?
Yes.
Like sports fandom?
Oh, God, yeah. There is an episode on that podcast of the cult of the NFL,
Yeah, there
which
is.
is... I was like, I already knew about this. I don't need to listen to it anymore. I've seen how my family act on when Eagles games come on.
All right, I feel like I've let the end of this episode ramble on too long. I love you guys. Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Love you all so much.
Peace out, bitches.
The Restricted Section is thrilled to be a member of the Movie Night Crew podcast network, which features amazing other podcasts such as My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast. My Cabbages is an Avatar The Last Airbender podcast that was started by two lovable nerds during a global pandemic to stave off their inevitable existential crisis.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne,
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on a even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics,
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just like unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
Subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
The Restricted Section was created by me, Christina Kahn, based on the book series by J.K. Rowling. All music by Ryan Kahn. Logo by Michael Hardison. Support us on patreon.com/restricted section. For as little as $1 a month, you can gain access to our Discord community server, which is a really happy place to be. And there are other rewards as well, such as bonus episodes and Zoom happy hour hangouts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Restricted Section Pod, on Twitter at Restricted Pod, and on Facebook at Restricted Section Pod. Also, feel free to shoot us an email at restrictedsectionpod@gmail.com to share your thoughts, feelings, complaints, conspiracy theories, or even lavish praise.
I didn't take any notes.
That movie sucked. I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.